gracious good day to one and all once again. 'Tis I, Norton the First, by grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. Back with you once again for episode number 121 of Emperor Norton's fantastic history vlog. Today is August 19, 2020. It is our 155th day under COVID-19 restrictions. And on top of all that, we have wildfires burning all around the empire today, so the air quality is very bad, so you might want to wear a mask. Let's begin with our national days today. It is World Humanitarian Day. Well, there's something I think we can all celebrate. Aviation Day. Oh, we love aviation. Yes, we do. Photography Day. We'll come back to that later on. You'll understand why. Soft Ice Cream Day. That sounds good. And National Potato Day. Okay. Our Florida Man segment today. Always entertaining, isn't it? Today, Florida man arrested after allegedly shoving steaks worth more than $50 down his pants. Okay, maybe he wanted to cook them. Those of you who are fans of the movie Pink Flamingos will understand that joke, hopefully. If not, go back and see the movie. If you've never seen it, see it. There you go. Our San Francisco story today does not come from John Ralston's book, This Date in San Francisco, for once. Oh, the dates are not quite right. There we go. Perfect. This is a very significant and sad day in the empire because it was on this date, August 19, in 2013, that we became a widower with the death of our widow, Jose Sarria. Jose Julio Sarria, also known as the Grand Mayor, Absolute Empress I de San Francisco, and the Widow Norton, was an American political activist from San Francisco who in 1961 became the first openly gay candidate to run for public office in the United States. He's also remembered for performing as a drag queen at the Black Cat Bar and as the founder of the International Imperial Court System. Jose Sarria was born in San Francisco to Marie Dolores Maldonado and Julio Sarria. His family was of Spanish and Colombian origin. His mother, Maria, was born in Bogota to an upper-class and politically active family. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, Sarria became determined to join the military, despite being just under 5 feet tall, too short to meet the Army's height requirements. He seduced a major, who was attached to the San Francisco recruiting station on the condition that the major approved Sarria's enlistment. Jose Sarria was approved and entered the Army Reserve, continuing his studies as he waited to be called up to active duty. He was sworn in and ordered to Sacramento, California for basic training with the Signal Corps. Because of his fluency in several languages, Sarria was assigned to intelligence school. However, following a routine background check for security clearance, he was advised he could no longer be in the program. Sarria assumed that it was because investigators discovered his homosexuality. I mean, I had no lisp, he said, but I wasn't the most masculine guy in town. So I think that they figured that I was a little bit gay. Following his military service, Sarria returned to San Francisco. He enrolled in college with plans of becoming a teacher. He and his sister Teresa began frequenting the Black Cat Bar at the center of the city's beat and bohemian scene. Sarria and Teresa both became smitten with a waiter named Jimmy Moore and bet as to which of them could get him into bed first. Jose won the bet, and soon Moore and he were lovers. Sarria began covering for Moore when he was unable to work the Black Cat, and soon Black Cat Saloon owner Saul Stauman hired him as a cocktail waiter. One night at the Black Cat, Sarria recognized the piano player's rendition of Bizet's opera Carmen and began singing arias from the opera while he delivered drinks. This quickly led to a schedule of 3 to 4 shows a night, along with a regular Sunday afternoon show. Sarria was billed as the Nightingale of Montgomery Street. Initially, he focused on singing parodies of popular torch songs. Soon, however, Sarria was performing full-blown periodic operas in his natural high tenor. His specialty was reworking of Carmen set in modern-day San Francisco. Sarria, as Carmen, would prowl through the popular cruising area, Union Square. The audience cheered Carmen as he dodged the vice squad and made her escape. Sarria encouraged patrons to be as open and honest as possible. People were leading double lives, and I didn't understand it. It was persecution. Why be ashamed of who you are? He exhorted the clientele. There's nothing wrong with being gay. The crime is getting caught. And united, his other saying was, united we stand, divided they catch us one by one. It's on his tombstone. It's his epitaph. At closing time, he would call upon patrons to join hands and sing God Save Us Nelly Queens, the tune of God Save the Queen. Sometimes he would bring the crowd outside to sing the final verse to the men across the street in jail who'd been arrested in raids earlier in the night. Speaking of this ritual in the film Word Is Out, great film, gay journalist George Mendenhall said, "It sounds silly, but if you lived at the time and had the oppression coming down from the police department and from society, there was nowhere to turn, and to be able to put your arms around other gay men and be able to stand up and sing God Save Us Nelly Queens." We were not really saying God Save Us Nelly Queens. We were saying we have our rights too. Sarria fought against police harassment, both of gays and of gay bars. Raids on gay bars were routine, with everyone inside the raided bar taken into custody and charged with such crimes as inmates in a disorderly house. Although the charges were routinely dropped, the arrested patrons' names, addresses, and workplaces were printed in the newspapers. When charges were not dropped, the arrested men usually quietly pleaded guilty. Sarria encouraged men to plead not guilty and demand a jury trial. Following Sarria's advice, more and more gay men began demanding jury trials, so many that the court's dockets were overloaded and judges began expecting that prosecutors have actual evidence against the accused before going to trial. One favored harassment technique, employed especially on Halloween after midnight, was to arrest drag queens under an old city ordinance that made it illegal for a man to dress in women's clothing with an intent to deceive, quote unquote. In consultation with attorney Melvin Belli, Sarria countered this tactic by distributing labels to his fellow drag queens, handmade in the shape of the black cat's head, that read, "I am a boy." If confronted, the queen would simply display the tag to prove there was no intent to deceive. Along with Sarria's actions helped bring an end to the Halloween police raids. Along with Guy Straight, Sarria formed the League for Civic Education, LCE, in 1960, or on the topic of homosexuality and in 1960 or 1961. Like the LCE, like other homophile organizations, ran educational programs on the topic of homosexuality and provided support for men being ostracized for being gay and for those caught in police raids. We're talking 1961 here. With the demise of the Black Cats, Sarria helped found the Society for Individual Rights, SIR, in 1963. SIR grew out of a split between Sarria and Straight over the direction that LCE was heading. Straight and his supporters wanted to focus more on publishing the group's newsletter, while Sarria and his backers wanted to maintain focus on street-level organizing. SIR sponsored both social and political functions, including bowling leagues, bridge clubs, voter registration drives, and candidate nights, and published its own magazine, Vector. In association with the Tavern Guild, SIR printed and displayed Pocket Lawyers. These pocket-sized guides offered advice on what to do if arrested or harassed by police. SIR lasted 17 years. Crowned Queen of the Beaux Arts Ball in 1964 by the Tavern Guild, Sarria, stating that he was already a queen, proclaimed himself Her Royal Majesty Empress of San Francisco, Jose I, the Widow Norton. Sarria devised the name Widow Norton as a reference to the much celebrated citizen of the 19th century San Francisco, Joshua Norton. who declared himself Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico in 1859. Sarria organized elaborate annual pilgrimages to lay flowers on Norton's grave in the Woodlawn Cemetery in Colma, California. He purchased a plot adjacent to Norton's where he is now interred. Sarria's assumption of the title Empress led to the establishment of the imperial court system, a network of nonprofit and charitable organizations throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico that raises money for various beneficiaries. Sarria is much revered within the hierarchy of the imperial court system and is affectionately known and informally known as Mama Jose, among imperial court members. The Jose Honors Award are presented to imperial court dignitaries and others in a biannual banquet held in Sarria's honor. I'm not sure about that. Sarria and members of the imperial court appeared along with other notable drag queens in the 1995 film To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. They played judges in the Drag Queen of the Year contest that opened the film. Sarria was honored in 2005 with the San Francisco LGBT Pride Celebration Committee's Lifetime Achievement Grand Marshal Award. On May 5, 2006, Sarria's lifetime of activism was commemorated with the city of San Francisco renaming a section of 16th Street in the Castro to Jose Sarria Court. A plaque outlining Sarria's accomplishments is embedded in the sidewalk in front of the Harvey Milk Memorial branch of the San Francisco Public Library, which is in the Castro. And it is located at 1 Jose Sarria Court. In 2009, the California State Assembly honored Sarria during an official celebration of LGBT Pride Month on June 21st. Sarria reigned over the imperial court system until February 17, 2007, abdicating the throne in favor of his first heir apparent, Nicole Murray Ramirez of San Diego, who assumed the title Empress Nicole the Great, Queen Mother of the Americas. Sarria left San Francisco in 1996, settling in Palm Springs, California, the Palm Springs, California area, for more than a decade before moving to Los Ranchos de Albuquerque, New Mexico, in a suburb of Albuquerque. On granting Sarria its Lifetime Achievement Award in March 2012, Albuquerque Pride noted that he was living in Los Ranchos in a, quote, cute little casita and is enjoying this time raising chickens, unquote. The casita was the guest house adjacent to the home of Tony Ross and his husband P.J. Cedillo, also known as Fontana Divine, Imperial Dowager Empress, 6 of the United Court of the Sandinas. Ross and Cedillo served as Jose's caretakers in the last 3 years of his life. And we got to meet our beloved widow on a number of occasions, luckily, and we're also at her funeral. We were not able to make the Grace Cathedral part of it, where they packed it to standing capacity only. It's huge. It was quite impressive. There was a motorcade down Highway 280 where they stopped traffic. This is very rare to have this occur. With burial, indeed, in front of our grave at the Woodlawn Cemetery. We were able to make that. So indeed, we stood at our grave and watched them bury our widow. So wrap your heads around that. The imperial court, by the way, is still going strong, and they also now crown an emperor of San Francisco. That actually happened a long time ago, but it was empresses at first, but all emperors of San Francisco have in their title after Norton, for we were the first emperor. Now the imperial court is also trying to get Jose Sarria inducted in the California Hall of Fame. We'll put the link right up here so you can do that to help with that. Jose was also referred to as the Rosa Parks of the gay movement, and that is very, very true. If you'd like to learn more about Jose, there is a documentary coming out. It's not out yet, but it will be out soon. In the meantime, check out Michael Gorman's wonderful book, The Empress is a Man's Stories in the Life of Jose Sarria. So, hats off to our beloved widow, who we miss tremendously. Well, let's get into our other history. And unfortunately, we missed a very significant event yesterday. We are really questioning some of the sources we use for this vlog sometimes to get our history, because they left off something very important. Yesterday was the centennial of the passage of the 19th Amendment, guaranteeing and protecting women's constitutional right to vote. This historic centennial offers an unparalleled opportunity to commemorate a milestone of democracy and to explore its relevance to the issues of equality rights today. So sorry we missed that. We're making it up today. Very, very important, granting over half of this nation's populace the right to vote. Seems like a very simple thing today. Not in 1920, it didn't. Why is it Photography Day? Because on this date in 1839, details of Louis Daguerre, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, first practical photograph process are released in Paris. Photography goes all the way that far back. 1953, Israel's parliament conferred Israeli citizenship posthumously on all Jews killed by the Nazis during the years of the Holocaust, 1933 to 1945 in Europe. 1957, another San Francisco story of great importance. The New York Giants baseball team announced their move to San Francisco. 1960, Francis Gary Powers is convicted of spying by the USSR. That's the U-2 spy plane incident. He was shot down. 1967, the Beatles' All You Need Is Love single goes #1, worldwide hit. 1991, conservative members of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union attempted to depose Mikhail Gorbachev in a coup d'etat. Our births today. 1851, Charles E. Hires. He comes up a lot. This is his birthday today. He was a pharmacist, inventor, and manufacturer of Hires root beer. That sounds good. With some soft ice cream, because that's what today's day is as well. Wonderful. 1871, aviation pioneer Orville Wright. 1883, Gabrielle Coco Chanel, the fashion designer, Chanel No. 5 perfume as well, or parfum, as one should say. 1892, actor Alfred Lunt. 1902, poet Ogden Nash, who wrote a wonderful poem about our favorite beverage, the martini. There is something about a martini, a tingle remarkably pleasant, a mellow martini. I wish I had one present. There is something about a martini ere the dining and dancing begin. To tell you the truth, it's not the vermouth. I think that perhaps it's the gin. And life is too short to drink cheap gin. Our particular favorite, if you ever want to buy us a bottle, is Bombay Sapphire, but we're also a big fan of Hendrick's. Tanqueray will do in a pinch, but keep us away from those baby aspirin flavored cheap gins. Ugh. Where were we? 1906, the birth date of Philo T. Farnsworth, the co-inventor of television. We talked about that a couple years ago. 1915, Ring Lardner Jr., the writer. I believe he was blacklisted. I forgot to fact check that before I came down here to tape, so we'll check that out before we post this, and we'll let you know over there whether it's true or not. 1919, publisher, millionaire, billionaire, I think, Malcolm Forbes. 1921, Star Trek producer, Gene Roddenberry. Live long and prosper. 1931, jockey, word escaped me for a moment, Willie Shoemaker, one of the best ever. 1934, transsexual tennis player. I think the word now is transgender, but maybe transsexual is still right because she did have a sex change. Dr. Renee Richards. 1946, Bubba, former President Bill Clinton, happy birthday. Also, the wife of his vice president, Al Gore, Tipper Gore, is having a birthday today. 1963, John Stamos from Fuller House, and had the best mullet ever. We're thinking about maybe doing it again ourselves someday. Yes, bring it back. Bring back the mullet. Deaths today, just a couple. 1980, Otto Frank, the father of Anne Frank, dies at 91. 1994, Nobel Prize scientist Linus Pauling. Oh, we went about 20 minutes today again. In fact, just about now. Long item on Jose Sarria, but well worth it. As I said, very important person in LGBT history, San Francisco history, and our beloved widow. Well, that wraps it up for today's edition. Don't forget, we are accepting tips. This is especially important now that unemployment benefits have been cut by, 2/3. It's hard to make ends meet right now. So leave a monthly tip via Patreon or just a one-time via PayPal. Here's more information about what the Countess and I normally do, our tours, which we hope to return to someday. We are really itching to do that, but not before it's safe. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay inside, stay healthy. If you do go outside, wear a mask, please. Don't take unproven cures. Oleander oil from the MyPillow guy who has a financial interest in it? Come on. Be kind to one another. And until we see you again, a gracious good day.